What's up, everybody? Faded here with some huge news regarding Hearthstone Battlegrounds. I never saw these before, but I'm very excited to see them now. The Hearthstone buddies are back. So, what exactly is a buddy? So, this is going to be something every hero has their own buddy. They're unique, they have their own powers, and they will not be appearing in the general minion pool. So each hero will have a buddy button, and you can press this to get your buddy. This will give you a card. You can press it twice per combat, and initially it will have a cost based around the tier of your buddy. This goes down by 3 gold every time you win or tie. Now that's huge, but it also goes down 2 costs each time you lose a combat. So either way, you are progressing your buddy. So first off, we have the hero Captain Hogar. This is one of your pirate heroes. This buddy is called the Shining Sailor. It has 3/6 stats and a special ability. After you buy a pirate, you will gain +1/+1, and it adds a pirate to the tavern. Now, when you gold this buddy, the Shining Sailor will gain +2/+2, and it will add a pirate to the tavern. Next, we have Ingi. I don't know exactly how you say his name. The Iron Hymn. Now, his buddy is called Solemn Serenader. This is a tier 3 undead buddy with 4/3 stats. And after you use your hero power on a minion, it gains half this minion's attack, and it swaps to health, alternating on turns. When you gold Solemn Serenader, you come to, after you use your hero power on a minion, it gains this minion's attack, swaps to health next turn. That could be very big. If you're buffing this, get that gold. It's an early, it's a 3-drop. So you can get this going pretty early, get some buffs going, and, just share the love across the board. Next, we have the hero Rockmaster Voon with Akali, the Rock Rhino. This is a tier 4 beast minion, with stats sitting at 5/5 stock. At the end of every 2 turns, you get a plain copy of the leftmost card in your hand. Now, this is going to be huge. There is already a hero that has this power, but now there is a card that can make it happen as well. And you can pass these to your friends and duos. When you gold the Rock Rhino, at the end of every turn, you get a plain copy of... at the end of every turn. Okay. So you get a plain copy of the leftmost in your hand at the end of every turn. That is a huge deal, actually. And that is going to be a 4-drop. Next up, we have the buddy for Thorum Stormlord. And this buddy is Varanus Stormlord's Mount. This is a tier 3 dragon sitting at 6/3 stock stats. At the end of your turn, transform the minion to the left of this into one from a tier higher, up to tier 7. That's huge. Once you gold the Stormlord's Mount, at the end of your turn, transform the minion to the left of this into one from 2 tiers higher, up to tier 7. Meaning you can sit around a tier 5 and just cycle through, see what tier 7s you can get, which is very, very nice. Next up, we have the hero Snake Eyes. This buddy is called Boxcars. This is a tier 4 mech sitting at 6/6. At the start of your turn, roll a 6-sided die. Discover a tavern spell of that tier. Now, we are familiar with this dice rolling mechanic. However, getting a tavern spell of that tier is new, and I am very excited to see this. Once you gold Boxcars, at the start of your turn, you roll 2 6-sided dice and discover a tavern spell from each of those tiers. That could be really big if you're doing a Felbor buff, an Elemental buff, anything like that. And also, tavern spells are just awesome. Next up, we have Dr. Holiday. And this buddy is the 9 Frogs. Now, we all know of the 9 Frogs hero power. We also know of the 9 Frogs weapon in the standard game. However, this is going to be a tier 5 beast minion sitting at 9/9. And after you buy a minion, you get a random tavern spell of the same tier. And it starts with 9 of those. You can do that 9 times. After you gold the 9 frogs, after you buy a minion, get 2 random tavern spells from the same tier. This is going to be great for economy. It's a little extra buff to get those tavern spells at the same time as adding a minion to your pool. Next up, we have Tathalon. I think I might be saying that incorrectly. Blood Watcher. This buddy is going to be called the Reliquary Attendant. This is a tier 4 elemental buddy for all you elemental fans. Stats sitting at a 7/4, and once per turn after you cast a tavern... Once per turn after you cast a tavern spell, get a new copy of it. After you gold the Reliquary Attendant, once per turn after you cast a tavern spell, get 2 new copies of it. That is going to be huge for any kind of buffs. Let's say give a minion stats equal to your tier, the Lantern Light, 3 of those. Let's say you're sitting, I mean, you're obviously going to be at least tier 4 here. That's 12 that you're adding for 1 gold. That's really, really nice. And elementals are about to be dirty if this lives up to what I'm thinking it will be. Next up, we have the Nameless one with his buddy, the Faceless one. A lot of edgelord going on here. Now, this buddy sits at a 1/1. Without a doubt, the weakest of the buddies as far as pure strength goes. However, the battle cry, get the buddy of your teammate's hero power. Once you gold the Faceless one, you get 2 buddies of your teammate's hero power. Now, this could be really big in duos. If your buddy gets a really cool, or I'm sorry, your friend gets a really cool buddy, and you didn't really get much, then this could be huge. It's kind of like copying your friend's hero power. This could definitely be huge to turn the tide. If you just, if you're anything like me and you just get piss poor rolls in the shop or in the hero selection. Next up, we have Cho. Everyone's a fan of Cho and Gall. So Cho is going to get Halphus the Mighty. This is a tier 4, sitting at 5/5. At the start of your turn, discover a minion of your tier with a 50% chance to pass it. Once you gold Halphus the Mighty, you'll get, at the start of your turn, discover 2 minions of your tier, 50% chance to pass them. Now, I don't know yet if this is going to be 50% chance to pass both, or if they both have a 50% chance to be passed. Because that could play out pretty well. If you pull 2, then 1 gets passed and you keep 1, then you and your friend have just become a little bit stronger, which is always nice. If nothing else, you get economy. Obviously, following Cho, we have Gall with Halphus the Wise, sitting at tier 4 as well. Also a 5/5. At the start of your turn, discover a tavern spell of your tier. 50% chance to pass it. So, same deal, but instead of minion, tavern spell. Once you gold Halphus the Wise, at the start of your turn, discover 2 tavern spells of your tier, 50% chance to pass them. Same thing, Cho and Gall are just constantly working off of each other. This is going to be a very good combo if you're a fan of running duos in Battlegrounds. Next up for the heroes, we have Madame Goya. And Madame Goya comes with her buddy Mr. Chu, sitting at tier 4. Mr. Chu sits at 5/6, and once per turn, after you pass a minion, get a plain copy of it. So we already have the card that is available to everyone that gives you 1 free pass per turn. So now with Mr. Chu, especially if you pair these 2 together, you could really see some economy coming from passing. Once you gold Mr. Chu, it becomes once per turn after you pass a minion, get 2 plain copies of it. This could be used for something as simple as economy. This could be used to gold your partner's minion that you pass them, something like that. Madame Goya and Mr. Chu are definitely about to be a problem. If you're going up against them, if you manage to play them, have fun. Next up, we have the Phlebidinous Floop. Sitting with his buddy, or its buddy, I'm not certain. Glorious Gloopling, say that 5 times fast, sitting at tier 5. Now this minion sits at 5/1. Hey, it's scarily close to what I'm... Anyway, At the start of your turn, get a plain copy of your teammate's highest tier minion, except for their buddies. So once you gold the glorious gloopling, God, that's hard to say. At the start of your turn, get 2 plain copies of your teammate's highest tier minion, again, except for buddies. Now, there are also buddies that will be coming back. So if you remember the buddies, if you played with buddies, then you might recognize some of these. I do not, so these are all new to me. So, I'm having a great time here. So we have Overlord Sourfang gets Drenache Sourfang. This sits at a tier 4 with 2/2 stats. After you buy a minion, gain its stats. And once you gold Drenache, you get, after you buy a minion, gain double its stats. Now this is going to be huge. This kind of sounds like the beatboxer for mechs on Battlegrounds, where every time you magnetize, it also magnetizes to the beatboxer. So every time you buy a minion, you can gain its stats, or gold, gain double its stats. This could be really good to get out on the board early, especially, tier 4s where you really start selling off all of your tier 1, tier 2 minions, all of your buffing minions, and start really getting into your late game meta. Next up, we have Ragnaros the Fire Lord. Now, this buddy is Lucifron, sitting at tier 5 with 6/5 stats. Your end of turn effects trigger an extra time. I know people love triggering end of turn effects an extra time. And if you gold Lucifron, your end of turn effects trigger 2 extra times. Pretty self-explanatory, but it's going to be huge. Any kind of ending, or any kind of your end of turn effects triggering multiple times can be huge if you have stuff like Quillbore. At the end of your turn, play Blood Gems. At the end of your turn, boost this minion, what have you. Dragons could really benefit from Lucifron as well. Next up, we have Arana Starseeker with, oh good lord, Sklib, I think, Demon Hunter as the buddy. This sits at tier 3 with a 4/4. After you buy a card, your next refresh costs 0. So we see a lot of these with elementals already. But this is just going to kind of expand that power into other playable areas. And after you gold Sklib, you get, after you buy a card, your next 2 refreshes cost 0. Now, this is huge. I think a lot of people downplay your refreshes costing 0, especially on the early game, tier 2, tier 3, tier 4, early to mid game. That is huge. If you have just enough gold, let's say it's 4 to upgrade your tavern and you have 7, now you can upgrade. If you have this gold already, you get 2 refreshes to find something on, your next tavern level without spending that gold to look for it and freezing. Next up, we have Alexstrasza. I love Alexstrasza. I love dragons. Alexstrasza's buddy is Veilstrasza, I think. This is a tier 3 dragon sitting at 4/4. Battlecry and start of combat give your other minions +2/+2. That's really good mid-game. It's a great 3-drop to get out there, especially on dragons. But it does say minions. It does not specify dragons, which means you can run this with any other kind of minions, and that start of combat is huge. So once you gold Veilstrasza, it just turns into give your other minions +4/+4 Battlecry and start of combat. So there could be potentially a lot of boost going on from this if you're playing it on time, playing it early to mid game. This could really turn the tide, and it turns to an 8/8 once you gold it as well. For the next hero, we have Zephyrus with the buddy, oh good god, give them normal names. Firez, maybe? This is a tier 4 elemental, sitting at 3/3. Battlecry. Discover a plain copy of a different minion that you have exactly one of. This could be pretty cool. This could get you, obviously one step closer to getting that gold, especially if it's something interesting, or you can just double up on a really good minion, say like a Winterfin, or nothing else is coming to mind right now because of all this, but there's a lot of stuff that, you could just want 2 of. Maybe 2 poets, 2 brands. There is a dev comment on this card. This is primarily a text update for clarity, but there have also been some small functional updates. Fire-Res does not count itself or Ziliax modules, but it does now count golden minions. Oh. Okay, so it could get you on the way to having a gold and an extra, and potentially working your way towards 2 golds. So once you gold Fire-Res, Battlecry, discover a plain copy of a different minion that you have exactly one of twice. There's your gold. For the next hero, we have AFK with Snack Vendor back at it. This is a tier 3 buddy, sitting at 5/4. At the end of your turn, give your tier 3 minions +1/+2. Once you gold the Snack Vendor, that turns to giving your tier 3 minions +2/+4. And this is at the end of your turn, repeating. This is very good mid-game, especially for AFK. You're sitting out the first round, and this first 2 rounds, I'm sorry. And this could be really big to play catch up. Next up, we have Death Speaker Blackthorn with his buddy Death's Head Sage. This is a tier 5 undead / Quillbore. This buddy sits at 3/6, and after you get a blood gem, you get an extra one. Who doesn't want extra blood gems? Once you gold the Death's Head Sage, after you get a blood gem, get 2 extra. So this is tier 5, but usually by tier 5 with Quillbore, you've gotten rid of most of your blood gem production. If anything, you might have the Buffoon if he's kind of stacked, but by tier 5, you're kind of trying to get rid of that. You're really relying on minions that play blood gems on adjacent minions or on themselves, Charlga, different kind of stuff like that. So this would be huge for blood gem production late game, and gold, you sit at a 6/12 stock, so that could get out of hand pretty quickly health-wise. The next hero, we have Queen Azura. I think I said that close enough to correctly. With her buddy, Imperial Defender. This is a tier 4 Naga. Now, I know people are starting to wake up to the fact that Naga is absolutely OP. I adore Naga. I've been with Naga for at least the past 2 months of Battlegrounds. Every time I see it, I want to run it. So the Imperial Defender sits at 2/4, and whenever you cast a Spellcraft spell on a different friendly minion, you also cast it on this. Again, we have that beatboxer mechanic coming in. Now, this could be huge for Naga players, because one of the most annoying things about Naga is looking for that Lava Lurker, and looking for that gold Lava Lurker especially. And then with the gold Lava Lurker, you have to have a Zesty, and you really need that Zesty gold. But with the Imperial Defender sitting out there, you have something else for the Spellcraft to go on to. Obviously, it's not permanent, but if you're, say, building your deep blues, this thing is going to get stronger as your Lava Lurker gets stronger, and it's just going to be absolutely amazing. Once you gold the Imperial Defender, whenever you cast a Spellcraft spell on a different friendly minion, you also cast it on this twice. Now, I am unsure, but it does sound like that's going to leave it open to, let's say, obviously with Deep Blues, every time you cast it, it goes up +1/+1. So this will get you 2 buffs, in theory, since you're casting it twice on the gold minion. Next up, we have Sire Denathrius with his buddy, the Shady Aristocrat, sitting at a tier 3 3/3. When you sell this, discover a quest. Complete it to get an 8 gold coin pouch. That sounds pretty fun. I love quests. I'm an RPG game fan kind of guy. I hear the word quest and I get that tingly sensation, So once you gold the Shady Aristocrat, when you sell this, you discover a quest. Complete it to get a 16 gold coin pouch. That is awesome. I love doing quests, and I love gold. I love having just an obscene amount of gold in the shop. Especially if you have time in the turn to spend all the gold. Next up, we have the hero Terran Gorefiend. There we go. With the buddy Shadowy Construct. This is a tier 5 undead. For all you undead fans out there, I know undead is, I'm not going to say strong, I'm going to say annoying. Annoyingly adept. So the Shadowy Construct sits at 5/5 with a Death Rattle. Give this minion's maximum stats to another friendly minion. Once you gold the Shadowy Construct, give this minion's maximum stats to another friendly minion twice. Always self-explanatory. Once you gold something, it just does whatever it does, double. This is going to be big for undead players. I can already see a lot of people playing this. I can see this getting very annoying straight off the bat. Next up, we have Queen Wagtoggle with her buddy, the Elder Tagawag. That's some Dr. Seuss level stuff right there. This is a tier 4 buddy sitting at 4/4. At the start of combat, if you control 4 minions with different types, gain your minion's highest attack and health. That's pretty cool. I don't know if it's permanent. It doesn't sound permanent, but that does still sound pretty cool for a 4-drop. Once you gold it, if you control 4 minions with different types, gain double your minion's highest attack and health. It sounds like it would be all of the minions combined. So this thing sounds like it could get out of control really, really quickly. Next up, we have Shutterwalk with the buddy Muckslinger. This is a tier 5 buddy sitting at 5/5 with a battle cry. Get a random battle cry minion. Simple as that. Once you gold it, get 2 random battle cry minions. Pretty cool. Not really much else to say about that other than economy. So next up, we have Yogg-Saron, Hope's End, with the buddy Acolyte of Yogg-Saron. This is a tier 4 Murloc, sitting at 5/4. At the start of every turn, spin the wheel of Yogg-Saron. Ooh, some gambling. Everyone loves that. So some of the Wheel of Yogg-Saron results were also updated. Mind Flayer Goggles, which cast 4 random tavern spells. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Rod of Roasting. Cast Pyro Buff randomly to give minions +10/+10 until one hits your bartender or hero. Ooh, that could be potentially dirty if you're lucky. And the Curse of Flesh. 2 friendly minions gain the stats of 2 other random friendly minions. Not bad. If you gold the Acolyte at the start of every turn, spin the Wheel of Yogg-Saron and double its effect. Does that mean the Rod of Roasting would give +20/+20? Because if so, that sounds so nice. Next up, we have Dancin' Daryl. Coincidentally, that's my uncle's nickname. Not really, don't come after me. With his buddy Asher the Haberdasher. They're just trying to make me fumble over these words. Either that or I'm just... No, surely not. I was tested. Anyway, this is a tier 4 buddy sitting at 2/2. After you sell a minion, gain a +1/+1 hat that passes to a friendly minion when sold. So everyone knows about the hat. Really nice to have this in just a card. Once you gold Asher the Haberdasher, Badasher Basher, you gain 2 +1/+1 hats whenever you sell a minion. So that's really, really cool. Wait, hold on. That's described incorrectly. After you sell a minion, gain 2 +1/+1 hats that pass to a friendly minion when sold. So the Haberdasher gains the hats. Interesting. Next up, we have Ysera with the buddy Valithria Dreamwalker. This is a tier 4 dragon that sits at 6/4. Whenever a dragon enters your warband or the tavern, gain +1/+1. On gold, whenever a dragon enters your warband or the tavern, gain +2/+2. And that automatically starts at a 12/8 on the gold. That's obviously before any buffs or anything go into it. That sounds awesome for dragon builds. Obviously, Ysera is a huge dragon hero, so that's going to be a very, very cool buddy, and honestly, I would say one of the top buddies out of this list. Next up, we have Malagos, and this buddy is the Nexus Lord, sitting at tier 4 with a 6/6 stats. The The Arcane Alteration replaces with a card from one tier higher. Once you gold this, Arcane Alteration replaces with a card from 2 tiers higher. This is just basically building off of what Malygos is already doing, making Malygos better at what Malygos does. This is not the best buddy that I've seen so far in the list. Honestly, this is not a hero I play much anyway, but if you're interested in this hero at all, this buddy does seem like it would make your abilities a little bit stronger. Next up, we have Lord Barav with Barav's Apprentice, sitting at tier 4 with 5/4 stats. After you play a coin, gain 1 gold. Now, once you gold the Apprentice, after you play a coin, gain 2 gold. So, that's really cool. You play a coin, get an extra gold. A coin equals 2. Once it's gold, coin equals 3. That's awesome. A coin that your buddy just passes, or that you buy for economy because you have 1 extra gold, just became enough to buy a minion as long as you have this gold. That's really, really nice for economy. Next up, we have Rakanishu with the buddy Lantern Tender, sitting at tier 4 with 5/3 stats. At the end of your turn, get 2 Lantern Lights that give a minion stats equal to your tier. We all know the Lantern Light. I referenced it earlier. Lantern Light is by far one of my favorite Tavern spells, by the way. 1 cost to give, 2/2, 3/3, 4/4, 5/5, whatever you're sitting at. But this Lantern Tender looks really, really nice. So once you gold the Lantern Tender, you get 4 Lantern Lights that give a minion stats equal to your tier again. That's really, really nice. That's a really good mid-game card, especially if you have a particular minion you want to buff. Just keep that guy on your board and just keep having fun with Lantern Lights. And that's not to say you can't buy more Lantern Lights in the shop as well, so you could potentially be looking at some huge buffs in 1 turn. Next up, we have Ticketus with the buddy Ticket Collector. This is a tier 5 buddy sitting at 6/6. When you sell this, discover a Dark Moon prize from the next tier. So once you gold the Ticket Collector, when you sell this, discover 2 Dark Moon prizes. Pretty interesting. We already have the Dark Moon Fair prizes. Once you buy 3 minions that have the tickets, you get the Dark Moon Fair prize. So this is just an easier way to get it, or another way to get it. And the Dark Moon prizes are pretty good, if I remember correctly. I don't play that hero a ton, but when I do, I know I have some fun with it. Next up, we have Volian with his buddy Master Gadrin. This is a tier 5 buddy sitting at 6/5. Minions targeted by Spirit Swap also gain each other's health. That's so huge. Once you gold Master Gadrin, minions targeted by Spirit Swap also gain double each other's health. That's gigantic. That's been my one complaint about that hero power is, while it is really nice, let's say you have an 8/2 and a 6/4 on your board, you swap them, right? Yeah, you got 2 large attack minions pretty early on in the game, at least for that turn, obviously, but no health. So with Master Gadrin, they are also gaining each other's health and double the health on gold. That is gigantic. Next up, we have Lich Bazal, I don't know. Unearthed Underling is the buddy here. This is a tier 3 undead. Again, it looks like undead's getting a lot of love here. Undead and dragons are getting a lot of love, which they kind of need, because Murloc, Naga, and Beast have just been assaulting everybody. So the Unearthed Underling sits at 3/3, and whenever your hero takes damage, rewind it and gain stats equal to that amount. So this is very similar to the Soul Rewinder, which I know Demon has kind of fallen off recently, just because, again, it really just comes down to the main 3 that you kind of have to play. You can make mech work if you're good, but it really just comes down to these 3. But this really seems like it's going to even it out and give undead that little extra bit that they needed. So whenever your hero takes damage, rewind it and gain stats equal to double that amount on gold. That is huge for undead players. So that now gives them a reason to play something like Malkazar. Gives you a reason to play. Oh, I'm trying to think of anything else. Oh my God, you can grab the 3 blood coins for free, which is huge with any kind of, with the Soul Rewinder. That's one of the best things, is getting a free coin out of the shop like that. And, your Watcher gets buffed, what have you. But now this thing is going to be gaining the stats of however much damage you took. So that will be 3 damage leading into an extra 3/3. But if it's gold, an extra 6/6. That's huge. Next up, we have Deathwing with Sinestra. This is a tier 4 dragon sitting at 2/6. Whenever a friendly minion gains attack during combat, give it +1 health permanently. Now, when you gold Sinestra, whenever a friendly minion gains attack during combat, give it +2 health permanently. This is nothing too crazy. There is already I can't think of the name. You gain health or it gives them 1 health permanently. It does the same thing, pretty much, whenever dragons gain attack. But dragons getting extra health is huge, because that is a serious shortcoming of dragons, is that limited health. And last but not least, we have Grabo with the Buddy Wandering Treant sitting at a tier 4 with 2/5. Whenever a friendly taunt minion is attacked, give your minions +1 attack permanently. On gold, whenever a friendly taunt minion is attacked, give your minions +2 attack permanently. This is gonna get dirty. There's gonna be a lot of people running just a giant F-off wall of taunts. And honestly, I'm kind of here for it. I'm here to see that. That's going to be very interesting. Pants are going to be a huge combo with this thing. And just board buffing. This Wandering Treant is going to be very, very fun, especially for mid-game. This is going to be a really fun card. There's also a few small hero updates. We have a hero pool update with the ETC band manager coming back to the hero pool. I didn't see anything about a buddy for the ETC band manager, but I'm sure we'll get one later on. And the curator is also going to be banned in demon lobbies. The devs said that this change is because minions summoned by cultist Sithara will now resummon with Venomous if they had it before they died, making it easily abusable with the curator. Obviously. So that's so much news. I know that was a lot. That I really expected this to be a short video, but there's no way it's going to be. There's so much coming to Battlegrounds here. It really seems like metas are about to change. I really think we're about to start seeing some stupid damage output numbers, and we've already seen, 10,000s, 20,000s. I think the record right now is like a 40K or something like that. It's ridiculous, but with these, I think the average player is going to be able to get up to those levels now, because I know a lot of people struggle to even get in the hundreds, in the, anything past 500. But I think it's going to be a lot easier to see those higher damage outputs now. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you're as excited as I am for these new updates. I'm not exactly certain when these are coming out, but you can bet your bippy that once they do, there will be fresh Hearthstone content. I will be all over this duos. I'm so excited for a change. Thank you guys so much for watching.